Let's start. Just start. Just start.
So let me actually get on here.
Oh. That's a nice
I just brought it up.
Okay.
I saw that. We're such moms, yeah. I was like,
Oopsie. So it's on NCO Honolulu, and then on the left-hand side, it's going to show the upcoming events. It will show the meetings, and then there's a WebEx thing. I don't know how that works on a phone. Sure.
Neighborhood board or neighborhood commission office?
Neighborhood board.
sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sign in, please. Yeah, Angela's on.
Hi, sis.
So you have 9 people.
We got 7.
7.
2, 4, 6, 7. We have online. Yeah, 4.
Okay, I'm gonna join in. I'm gonna join as a person.
We have 4.
You should have 4. You have 7.
Farm is 9, right? Farm is 9.
So quorum is 9.
No, quorum
No,
is 7.
Sorry, 7.
2/3 is 9.
2/3 is 9.
Okay.
So that's where that. That's insane. Okay. So we'll go ahead and just start. Anything before we start? Good.
So we can't add another person, I don't see it on the agenda, make it.
We can't add it because we don't have 9. So even if we have 7 people, like it costs for
Because it's not on the agenda.
well, technically, quorum is 7, but the way that it's written, it has to be 9 people of the total number.
If some of the board members start coming in, can they be added into like 8 and then 9?
Yes.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
we'll
and
bring
then we
that up.
can, like that. But yeah. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Kalihi Palama Neighborhood Board, number 15 stated meeting on the 19th. We're gonna go ahead and start with the election of officers. I believe we cannot do that until we have a quorum. Or can
No,
we?
you have a quorum.
Wow.
You do have a quorum.
Okay.
You have 8 people.
We have 8 people.
5 times.
It's easy.
Okay, so right now we have election of officers. So we're gonna start with first with chair, followed by vice chair and secretary and treasurer. So what's open?
I nominate myself for chair. Just to
Right.
give it a try.
I'll
A second.
Just to give it a try.
I'll second.
I might delegate my duties later because I do get very busy.
And
Be aware of
Ken's been
that.
so good, but it would be nice to have like a little fresh
Yeah,
take and
yeah.
everything, and I was thinking about the same.
So
Any other?
yeah, is there anybody else? Okay, so with that said, Amanda, you have to be chair.
Fantastic.
You have to be chair.
That's gonna be fun, yeah. If you want, I will delegate my duties because I believe in sharing that too. Everybody gets a chance.
And also congrats, thank you for
So,
your
so
service.
yeah,
man.
no,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Sure?
What's
You
the
gonna do it?
next one?
No, he's like, let him finish up his officer thing and then he'll actually,
Yeah, have to pass it.
you have to pass it out.
After.
Yeah.
No, yeah, after this one. Okay,
Interesting.
so we have an opening for vice chair?
I nominate Eric Rowan.
Right. And Eric?
I don't. Sure, I'll try.
Okay.
I second that.
So, all right, move to seconded. Is there any nominations? No? Congratulations, Eric. Okay, and secretary.
I nominate Cards Pintor.
Yes, I second.
Okay. So moving to seconded, cards to be secretary. Is there a motion for anybody else who wants to be secretary?
Can I object?
Yes, you can.
No, don't want.
Okay, I object.
Okay.
Respectfully declines.
Yeah, sorry.
And I had it last time, it wasn't that bad. So just heads up, yeah.
I nominate Diosa for
I
secretary.
respectfully
Oh,
decline.
she wants to be the two
Oh.
parts of it.
Yeah.
Oh, we had Dalia, and then there's Donald.
They're on.
They're on.
They're on. So you have the 9.
So you have the 9.
Okay.
So we can finish this up, and then I'll give it to the chair to then decide on the 2/3 part vote. So secretary.
I nominate Delia. Are you on, Delia?
Angela has her. Hi, Leah.
Let's hear from Angela. She had her hand up.
Alright.
Can you put it on the screen?
She's on the screen.
Angela.
Love it.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I am now a new board member. And
Angela, are you putting in your nomination for secretary?
I nominate Angela.
actually I have a nomination for vice chair. I'd like to nominate Donald for vice chair.
It's already filled.
It's already filled.
There can be more than one vice chair.
Correct, but we're down to secretary right now.
Okay. So are we gonna circle back around?
That would be up to the will and pleasure of the chair. That will be.
No, we're moving
coming.
forward. We're on secretary.
Okay.
Secretary.
Sorry, I nominate Delia.
Talia, you're being nominated to be secretary.
Do you accept the answer?
Do you
Thank
accept
you
the
for your
nomination?
kind. I thank you for your kind nomination and respectfully decline at this moment. Mahalo.
You don't have to.
I could have used that in high school, just saying that. I respectfully decline.
Alright, then I nominate Ken Farm.
I respectfully decline.
I nominate Diosa for secretary.
Alright,
Oh.
respectfully
Oh.
decline.
Oh, okay, so we're all declining.
Yeah, we're moving on.
You don't have to put in any.
Okay, we'll put, we'll
Secretary.
unless somebody else wants to be secretary.
Go to the next one.
Okay, so we don't have anybody for secretary. Anybody
Wait,
wants?
wait.
Angela, is your hand still up?
Angela, your hands are still up. Are you nominating anybody?
For what?
Secretary.
Secretary? No.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's go to the next one. Skip that.
Okay, so the next one
Treasurer.
is treasurer.
I nominate myself for treasurer. There we go.
I second that.
Okay,
Sounds good.
so it's been moved and seconded for cards to be treasurer.
Nice.
Second.
Okay, is there anybody else that wants? Okay, with that said, thank you very much. Cards, you are now the secretary.
Treasurer.
Secretary, sorry.
Okay, I got
Secretary and treasurer, together, you could combine.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding,
No.
no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, good.
This
I'm
is
scared.
Jobs for you.
Yeah, and just for you guys notice, one of the things that changes that is being talked about is that they're trying to get rid of treasurer in general, from the commission perspective. So what I'll go ahead and do is, I can go ahead and call a recess and then have Amanda take over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
All right.
Alright.
So go ahead and I'll call recess. Thank you all. I love being chair, and thank you all for being as an awesome
Thank
partner.
you.
It was awesome. You did a good job the last time, so that was really good. And all right, Amanda. We're really for you. Woo! Okay, we got to recess.
Excuse me,
We're on recess. Oh. Go
before
ahead.
we
Yeah.
recess. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, before we recess, can we nominate vice chairs?
That'll be up to the chair. That is after recess, and the will and pleasure of that chair.
Okay, all right.
We'll move along. We're going on recess right
Okay.
now.
There you go.
I mean,
Yeah, we'll switch. We'll switch. So you're gonna have to be closer to him.
We're going to recess.
Yeah, it was right?
Was it
6
6 years?
I didn't even realize.
wow.
You did a great job.
You did, yeah.
It's 6 years.
I didn't realize.
I think so, right?
Somebody should have brought like layers. Better not leave, kid.
What you
Yeah,
mean?
where are you going?
I'm not planning on sitting in the seat for too long though.
Okay, so that's moving this stuff. Okay, that's gonna be
you,
yours.
Did an awesome job, Ken.
Thank you.
That's amazing. There's only one Ken.
There's so much you put into there's a lot to
What's your really chair? Oh, it's okay. I wanna put this behind.
During before that, the addition of filling of vacancies.
No, just put
Filling vacancies.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What are we doing
We're
here?
gonna go around, around.
Proceed, sorry.
So, right, what you can have the city, the city reports first, and then do, or you can even do, right now, when you come around to ask for, addition to the agenda to, and filling of vacancies.
Okay.
After the city. Yeah.
So, Jacqueline sent me emails that
She,
you needed the
two-thirds
pictures.
to vote, right, so
Do we have
everybody,
that now?
you have 9 people, so
Okay, so we-
everybody has to vote, yes.
So after recess, I'll just ask if we can.
Yeah,
to add.
to the agenda.
So, when it comes here for her presentation, she sent me emails that goes, you can't put it on there on this computer. So just let me know when, and I can go ahead and share.
There's just.
Yeah.
Okay, back in recess. I'm gonna ask the board if you folks can allow that we add onto the agenda for the board business, since we have 2/3.
Somebody make a motion.
If somebody can make a motion.
I make a motion for a 2/3 majority.
I second.
Thank you so much. We'll add that to the board business. We're gonna start now with.
Wait, but you need, so to add the filling of vacancies, right?
Mhm.
Before the thing. So I'm gonna do a roll call for everybody, so we
Okay,
need
should we
the
do that
two-thirds.
first? Okay.
Yeah,
We have to do a division for that?
you have to,
Should we do roll call now?
I'm gonna do the roll call. Second, it was Ventura. Okay, so you're voting on to add, on the agenda after the city monthly reports, filling of vacancies. The 3 vacancies we have, okay? Coleman is not here. Colin,
Here.
yes?
Yes.
Daga. Farm.
Here.
Guerrero.
Here.
Irwin.
Here.
Vitor.
Aloha.
Ulima.
Delia?
No, so, oh, Delia, yes.
Did you say Ulima? Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, present.
Yes. Actually, we're voting on whether or not to add, we do need the 2/3 votes to add the filling of vacancies on the agenda, because it's missing, it's not on the agenda.
Got it, thank you, yes.
Jimenez,
Present.
Young,
Here.
Is that a yes as well?
Can you repeat your question?
We're adding an item, filling of vacancies after the city monthly reports. Because it's not on the agenda. We do have 3 vacancies.
Okay, and what are the vacancies?
It's 3 at-large vacancies.
Okay.
So are you, yes?
I'm gonna vote
to-
yes.
Okay. Okay, we got to vote. Okay, so it's added under, after the city monthly reports.
Thank you so much. Can I proceed?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So we're moving along with the Honolulu Fire Department report.
Aloha, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, my name is Captain Ryan Stevenson. I'm with the Kalihi Fire Station, engine number 6. Fires, we had 1 structure fire, 1 brush wildland fire, 8 nuisance calls. These are fires including rubbish fires outside of a structure or a vehicle, 2 cooking fires, and 10 activated alarms with no fire. We had 225 medical alarms, 2 motor vehicle collisions involving pedestrians, 17 motor vehicle crash collisions, 0 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues, and 3 hazardous materials incidents. This month's safety tips are for grilling. Keep these tips in mind as you enjoy summer events and activities with family and friends. Always use barbecue grills outside, away from doors, windows, vents, and other building openings. Place grills well away from siding and deck railings and out from under eaves and overhanging branches according to the manufacturer's instructions. Keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from cooking areas and keep starter fluid, lighters, and matches out of children's reach. Cook with caution, be alert, and stay at the grill while cooking. Never leave a hot barbecue unattended. Light a propane grill only with the cover open. If the flame on the propane grill goes out, turn the grill and gas off and wait at least 5 minutes before relighting. Periodically remove grease or fat buildup in the trays below the grill so it cannot be ignited by the hot grill. Let the coals completely cool before disposing in a metal container. Never empty coals directly into a trash can. Do not store or use a grill on the porch or balcony, including any porch or balcony on an upper level of the building. And finally, always store propane gas tanks outside of buildings or garages. Remember to properly inspect and maintain the tank fitting and tubing according to the manufacturer's instructions. Vapors leaked indoors can easily be ignited by pilot lights or electrical equipment, causing an explosion. And that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the community? Hearing none, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on. Thank you, mahalo. Moving on to HPD District 1.
Good evening and aloha, everyone. They're in attendance. Lieutenant Arnold Sugusu representing the Honolulu Police Department, District 1 Community Area of Responsibility. Thank you for your time and patience. The information I'm going to be providing today is the total statistics for your area. For more statistical information, you can go to our public website at www.honolulupd.org. So the statistical information for the month of June 2023 is as follows. Motor vehicle thefts is 3. It's down from the previous month, which had 6. Burglaries is 0. From the previous was 2. Thefts was 2. Previous was 2. UMVs or car break-ins is 6. From the previous month is 3. Assaults is 1. Previous month is 3. Sex assault was 0 for both months, as well as graffiti. Drug cases or drug offenses were 2. From the previous month, it was 1. I also checked in regards to the other categories of robberies and catalytic converter thefts. They were both 0. Both of them were 0 for this month of June, which is a good thing. So total calls for service for your area for District 1 was 267 calls. Previous month was 238. So there's 29 more calls for service for the area At this point in time, there's no criminal breaches that we can report. So we just continue to ask our public community members to continue calling 911 when they see something suspicious. I did check on that last question by Miss Evelyn Cullen in regards to stolen merchandise being sold in front of Jolene's at the Chinese Cultural Plaza. I reported that to the watches and nothing was related back to me, so that's a good thing. So they've been checking that location. In regards to this weather event that's occurring right now, it's a wet Wednesday, but there was no issues in regards to any major traffic tie-ups or any like trees down in our particular area. We reallocated 2 officers to our watch. We added them on just to be safe. In regards to our former beloved Chief Lee Donahue, he had passed away on July 9th, last Sunday. So full honors funeral is being expected to be presented for him. However, at this point in time, the date and time is still unknown. We're giving the family a little bit of time so that they can get their affairs in order and go through that grieving process. So the safety tip for both districts, for us and District 5, is going to be the safety tip for the month is bicycle safety. In the recent past, we have been responding to more and more vehicle versus bicyclist collisions. We're asking our community members and bicyclists to be more visible for drivers by wearing reflective personal safety equipment and helmets for safety. Most bicyclist fatalities are usually due to riders not having helmets and not being visible to drivers. Being aware of your surroundings, vehicular traffic, and their movements would also prevent involuntary contact. Use of hand signals will keep drivers informed of their moving intentions. Finally, motorists should realize that green bicycle lanes allow bicyclists to move in both directions, even on a one-way street. At this time, I'm going to yield back the rest of my time and take any questions in regards to questions for District 1's area of responsibility.
Thank you, Sergeant. Any questions from the board?
Just Evelyn saying thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the community?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Angela.
Aloha, officer. I attended a class in Waikiki with the Waikiki Community Policing Team, District 6, with Officer Moses, Ryan, and Taryn. They prepare safety training classes for the district. And last month we learned about tourniquets, how to stop the bleeding, and it was trauma education. I was wondering, is that in the works at all for District 5, for our community policing team?
I'm gonna defer that question to my counterpart, Lieutenant Kretian Hatiko. He's gonna answer that because he's my counterpart in regards to District 5.
Thank you so much. CJ?
Yeah, just a quick question regarding the legality of like bikes and e-bikes on the sidewalks in our community. We've noticed kind of an uptick of that. Is that legal, or what is the rules for that?
In regards to e-bikes, especially for us in District 1, we've been having a lot of complaints. I'm not gonna lie. It's becoming a public nuisance. There's these large bike ride-outs that are sponsored by particular bike shops and bike companies that are selling these types of e-bikes and stuff like that. I think we need more legislation in regards to the regulations of these bikes. At this point in time, some of them, if they're not pedal assisted, they're considered recreational vehicles and should not be on the roadway. However, you got to realize too, right? Enforcement on those is a little bit difficult because these recreational vehicles are very agile. They can turn on a dime. They can weave through traffic, and it does not behoove us to engage in a pursuit type of situation for law enforcement to chase these violators, just to give them a ticket for riding a recreational vehicle on the public roadway. So a little bit more regulation, maybe something from the city council that we can regulate these bicycles and e-bikes. And maybe that could resolve some of the situations. Yes, they can't be riding on the sidewalks. It causes hazards. People can get hit and stuff like that. And then it might, these particular people, they go on long bike rides, 200-300 of them sometimes, and they cause some situations for us in District 1. I can't really speak for District 5, but it's a public nuisance at this point in time. We've been getting numerous complaints from the public. So I think maybe some new laws and some new regulations in regards to these recreational vehicles is in order, yeah.
Thank you so much. Any others from the community? Online? Hearing none, thank you so much, Sergeant. Going to move along to District 5.
Good evening, everyone. It's Lieutenant Creighton Atiko with District 5, the Kalihi Station. I'm one of the nighttime commanders. I believe this is my first meeting with you folks. Let me give you guys some statistics first. Regarding, in June, we had 8 burglary reports for your area, which is down from 12 in May. We had 21 motor vehicle thefts, which is up from 19 in May. We had only 42 general theft cases generated, which is down from 62 in May. And we also had 15 thefts from vehicles, which is down from 20 reported in May. Total calls for service is down a bit. 3,030 calls for service in the month of June, which is down from 3,236 in May. Lieutenant Sagusio has already given you guys a lot of good information and a safety tips. So to preserve time, I'll open it up to questions from the public and from the board.
Thank you so much. Any questions from the board?
Hi, Chair Daga here. First, thank you for your service. Secondly, we have public school starting second week of August. Can I request HPD presence on Beckley Street in that time being, please?
I'm sorry, that's just for the opening of school?
Yeah, due to Beckley Street having all the feeder schools walk through the area, I believe that we do need some presence of HPD just in case.
What is the time frame you're looking at, ma'am?
Morning time preferably and afternoon. So maybe 7:30 a.m. And then for the afternoon after the high school gets out, maybe around.
That's around like 2:30.
2:33.
Yeah, 2:30.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll relay that to the day watch, and I'll also notify our community policing team, and we'll see if we can get more presence there for during that time to try to make it a little more safer.
Thank you.
No problem, ma'am.
Any other questions from the board? Angela, go ahead.
Yeah, so I got disconnected there. So whatever the officer was telling me, I couldn't hear. But since this is another district, District 5, kind of the same question. What are some of the resources that the community policing team is providing to this district? The other districts, Waikiki District 6 is very active. They do monthly meetings. District 8 out in Kapolei, Department of Hawaiian Homelands, the homesteads, they have community policing team activities quite a lot also, where they're organizing with legislators and the people from the community. So what are some of the resources and events that are going to be going on for our district?
Okay, that's a good question, ma'am. What I'll do is, unfortunately, I don't have a direct line to what the community policing team does. Generally, all community policing teams, they do what you described. So unfortunately, I don't have the specifics of what District 5 is currently on or doing, but I can find that out, and I will. Is there specific things that you guys are interested in?
You can ask some of the other board members. I'm just advising that there should be more activity in this regard.
Oh, they have a lot of activity, but unfortunately, in our district, it's a lot of it entails interacting with troubled youth, trying to make connections in that aspect, and it takes a lot of our CPT's time. But I know they're trying to be, because they're under mandate from the chief to perform as the other community policing teams perform, but it has to be tailored to the particular community. So I will let them know that the community is interested in other types of outreach, and I'm sure they'll respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to dictate, but there are some things that.
Thank you so much, Angela. I think we're gonna cut it to respect everybody else's time, yeah? You already asked the question. Thank you so much, mahalo. Anybody else from the community? No, hearing none. Thank you so much, officer. We want to get you back on the beat.
No problem,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Thank
much,
you. You guys
Angela.
have a great evening.
Mahalo. Moving it along to respect everybody's time, Board of Water Supply.
I don't see.
Okay. Not here, Honolulu Authority of Rapid Transit, Hart, Harry Choi.
He's not here as well.
So we're moving on to board business.
Now go on to the
Okay, filling of 3 vacancies.
yes.
So we're gonna take that up. Is there anybody that wants to nominate?
I'll nominate Doris House.
I'll second.
Yes. So what do we need from her? I think we need your ID.
We already had
We have everything?
yeah, because she was in the board the last time, so
So I can have.
just making it official.
You're gonna fill up some people in here. Thank you so much. Anybody else interested? Thank you. Welcome to the board. Official for this.
Ask for any objections.
Any objections? Hearing none, thank you so much. Anybody else wants to nominate or anybody from the community wants to join the board?
Okay.
I might possibly, but I don't know what it entails, so I'll wait.
Okay. There'll always be another time. Anybody online wants to join? No? Thank you so much. So we have 1 vacancy filled. Thank you so much for joining the board. Okay. Welcome again. So now we're moving on to board business. Meeting determination for date, time, location, and format, August 2023 to June 2024. Is the board happy with where we're at and the time frame that we have here?
Okay, yeah, the time is okay. I'm questioning if we can do Kalihi Union Church for our place of meeting.
Any second? Any objection?
We'll look into it. Just remember the last time you guys went, right? You guys had other people. Like this had anything, right? There was activity, so
We'll look into it.
and we'll look into it though.
Evelyn, you have?
I object that location. I prefer it be here simply because of the noise factor, sharing the same space. It was difficult to hear what was going on. And I think we're in their space more so than vice versa. So,
Yeah.
Sure.
that's it.
Thank you so much.
So one of the things to just consider also is with the new changes in how Chapter 92 Sunshine Law, we need to have this kind of set up too as well. So I think the only room that would have is not what we had before, but the one that was right next.
If we're looking at technology, I think they might have that, but that's a question for the NCO office to follow up with. Thank you so much. You
Can I
also?
suggest Farrington High School's library? We have our board meetings in there for FACF, and I think it's a good idea to have the school in cahoots with us, intertwined information.
That might be a good middle ground.
I second that because we also have the technology there already. We can set it up. We have the sound system. Everyone can hear us. And it's pretty much like this space, but a little bit bigger. But
Better parking.
Yeah,
More
parking.
And accessible to wheelchairs.
Yes.
Got you, Donald.
Donald, you wanted to say something? Thank you so much.
We'll look into that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board concerning the matter?
So we're looking into Farrington.
NCO office has to take a look into it.
Yeah, we have to look. Yeah.
So they'll get back to us maybe by the next board meeting. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much for your input. B, determination of board recess schedule, August 2023 to June 2024. Any suggestions, Diosa?
May I suggest for December to be recess and June?
December and June.
I second that.
Any objections? Any objections or suggestions online? Hearing none.
I just have a question. Any heavy things coming down the pipe that we should know about that takes place during the month of June?
We just finished the recess in June. I don't think we had any significant impact. We don't know what could possibly arise in the community as crises can unfold by themselves, right? So that's partially unknown.
So just because kids are out of school and then, you know, everyone's on vacation anyway, so.
Yeah, June is usually a time. December is usually a time there's no school too. And it's usually quieter in the neighborhood, holiday season. So does anybody want to vote on that for December and June? Any objection? So hearing none, yeah. Recess for December and June. Thank you so much. C, adoption of rules including oral testimony. Does anybody want to move to accept oral testimony rules? Do we have any of that to go into June?
We're supposed to have 10 minutes for 3 minutes for reports, right? For elected officials reports or residents concerns, 3 minutes. 15 minutes for total of 50 minutes for presentation. So 10 minutes for presentation, 5 minutes for questions and answers. Those are your rules, kind of thing. And then you could add how many times that person can speak. Those are things also that can be added into it.
That one. Yes, I think I want to amend that and include that. How many times someone can ask a
Somebody
question.
can make a motion in that one, and then that will be
I'd like to make a
discussed.
motion to discuss how many times anyone can speak, including our board members on a specific subject and community. Okay. I say that there should be only 2 questions, 2 questions max.
Yeah.
Two.
I mean, I would raise it to 3, but 3's good. Yeah.
Two's good.
I think 2 is reasonable, and then there can be an exchange of information with either the representative, whoever you want to speak to, because that's our primary function. So I think 2.
So to clarify, 2 questions to 1 individual?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I limit 2 questions total. That's not, you cannot.
Not for the whole agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
That would be
that's
unrealistic.
insanity.
Yeah, that would be unrealistic, but 2 questions per representative.
Thanks.
Yeah, city or
Or
state.
speaker.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
My name is Thomas Vance. I understand the concern in regards to people asking questions. My question is, a lot of times when we have these meetings, representatives don't show. A lot of the board members and a lot of the public have concerns. How do we address these concerns if they don't show? I was hoping to question the heart. When they don't show and they don't come on, how do we address them?
Well, on the
Do we
website,
wait till the next meeting? And they only have 2
I believe you have a great concern there. I'm not trying to stop you at all. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather hear that in the community concerns so I can give you more time. Because right now we're talking about the internal board function. But I'll get back to you when it comes to the community concern because you have a valid point. And I want to make that clear.
The reason I brought it up is
Yeah.
because you're voting on it.
No, we're talking about how many times we can talk about a subject.
But just-
I'm not talking about when a representative's
I'm
not
sorry,
present.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it, we'll circle back to you. Yeah, we'll circle back to
They're
you
not showing
community
up on
concerns.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but we'll circle back to community concerns with that, because that is a valid point. Now, going back to how many times, 2 times, does that sound good for the board?
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So did somebody motion for that already?
you did.
Yeah.
Second
Any
that.
objections?
Angela.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, Angela, go.
Yeah, so I just want to clarify the subject matter that we're discussing right now. You're limiting 2 questions per speaker within the internal board function, as in for board members only. As we go through the neighborhood board meetings, when each speaker talks, only two board members can ask questions.
No,
No.
a board member can only ask two questions.
A board member can only ask two questions for one neighborhood board meeting.
For one representative or speaker.
Okay, for one per speaker. Okay.
So per speaker.
Okay, that's it seems equitable and fair because I thought originally the what was being presented was that for every speaker that is going to speak throughout the neighborhood board meeting, there can only ever be two questions from
That's not correct. You got it right the first time. So is that a yes that you're agreeing
Okay.
with it?
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
Answer any objections?
Any objections? I think we already asked that. No, none. Moving forward, okay, we're gonna adopt that. Thank you so much. A, C, and then D, establishment of committee and committee chairs and co-chairs. Anybody want to make a motion or suggest anything at this moment? Who wants to be part of a committee or create a committee?
Did we create committees last
time? I think
months
we
ago?
did, yeah.
Yeah, like education committee.
I forgot what was it? Well, mine was like, I guess a community for safety committee from Nimitz to Sand Island Park.
So you want to create a safety committee? Do you
Yeah.
want? Do you want to head that?
Yeah.
Anybody want to join, Evelyn?
I'll join it.
Okay, Eric, Evelyn, anybody else? Someone from the back. Your husband.
Yep.
My family, so
Oh, nice. Come on up. Gotta support each other. That's good. Anybody from the community want to join in?
I'll join.
Safety committee. Okay, Angela wants to join in. Very good. Okay. Any other committees that want to be formed?
Yeah.
Education?
Since we brought up education, a motion to make an education committee.
Nice. Anybody want to join cards?
Me, Carter.
You mean cards?
Co-chair.
Diosa.
Yeah.
Oh, so Diosa will co-chair.
Yeah.
And Ken. Perfect.
And Ken.
I think I'll join Evelyn for the public safety.
Anybody online?
Anybody online? None? Okay, I think that's all. Anybody
Oh.
else want to suggest?
If one more, if I can add on, health commission.
Oh, health commission.
Yeah, I meant health committee, sorry.
Ooh.
So we
Health
can
committee,
discuss
right.
about health, public matters.
I'll help with that.
That would be too, yeah, me too.
Who's chairing that?
Helper.
I'll just be a helper on that
I
one.
want to help her. I want to be a helper on that one too.
Cards gonna do it?
Yeah.
I mean,
the chair?
Oh,
Co-chairs?
Okay.
Oh, that's a lot, but
I know it's a lot, but you know,
you're okay,
hey, I would say I got the experience.
and I'm helping with that one.
Amanda.
Okay, I think, anything else? If not, we're moving along. Thank you so much, everyone. Good job. Okay, then we're gonna go for approval of regular minutes from Wednesday. Anybody want to move for that?
I'll move.
A second.
Okay, meetings adopted.
Any ask for any questions?
Any questions?
Any corrections?
Any corrections, sorry? Hearing none? Motion adopted. Okay, so we're gonna move to residents and community concerns. To the gentleman that was in the back, that was mentioning about when a representative is not present and how do we go about communicating that?
This has been an ongoing.
Have him come on.
Oh, can you come up to the mic?
Yeah.
Because this is getting recorded.
Get that seat.
Recorded.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I remember you from the Union Church.
It's been a while.
Watch for them with this guy. If this meeting don't show up, this guy will show up.
Yeah.
That's how it is trouble.
If you can state your name for the record. If you can state your name.
Oh, yes, Thomas Beck. Like her, we've been involved, try to get involved in our community, specifically in an area. But my biggest concern was what was the rail and how it's affecting the community. Granted, it's down in Dillingham. But I tried to address this with the mayor at a previous meeting in Kalihi last month. More concerns about how it's affecting not just the neighborhood, but people that have businesses in the area. And they said they were going to try to somehow alleviate that through, well, he was specific on that.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we cannot hear back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You gotta speak a little
Yeah,
louder.
I have a Anyway,
Sorry.
I'll try to speak louder. Anyway, the biggest concern I had was this, that years ago when they said they were going to go through the corridor of Dillingham, I know for a fact from people that used to work before World War II in that area, there were a lot of underground utilities that the military had put in that not on any of the city's maps, whether it be state or city. And my biggest concern is as they start opening up the area to change all these different water lines, sewer lines, whatever it is, electrical lines, that is going to cause a lot of delays and extra costs. If you look at the lawsuit that the previous contractor has against the city, for the city not telling them about underground utilities, I think what's going to happen to Dillingham is going to be worse. They haven't said how they're going to try to address them. I'm just worried what happened in Waipahu will be nothing to what happens in Kalihi. But until it actually happens, we basically watching it happen. But if you just look at what's happening in Dillingham now, as we speak, went from 4 lanes down to 2. It's affecting all these businesses. And the delays involved, especially when they said that they'll probably be running, hopefully to run to Middle Street within a year. Now they're talking about 2 years. This keeps on snowballing to the effect that, again, I'm not against it, but the delays and what it's going to cost us. We're already, what is it, $5 billion over what they said it was going to cost? They shortened it because they don't want to go to Alamo because of the cost. I have major concerns as a taxpayer, like the rest of you in this remark. And now we have the hard press that don't even show up. I don't know what to say.
Just as a Brett of 3 minutes, not that
Hart has another meeting that night. He's not able to make it.
Okay, so according to what I'm being told, Hart wasn't able to make it tonight. They usually are at these meetings. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you. There are ways to get in contact with them. I'm pretty sure our secretary will be able to share that information because I want you to have some kind of closure. We do want to keep all comments from the community up to 3 minutes.
Yes, I apologize.
But I wanted to again thank you so much for bringing that up because I do recognize you as a regular community person that is very engaged with us. So please do continue. I'll let you exchange information too so you can have that time to speak to the right people because they're just not here tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I think what he's getting at too is that we be the middleman to it because, I mean, he can always go on the website and talk.
The boards are,
Yeah.
that's our function is
Yeah.
to facilitate that conversation with the community.
So you got Robert Armstrong.
Okay, Robert?
I'll time just heads up. So
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So Robert.
Robert, go ahead.
Aloha. Thank you for recognizing me, Madam Chair. I'm Robert Armstrong of the Downtown Chinatown Neighborhood Board. It's been about a year since I've visited with you, and it's nice to see everybody. I'm talking to not only board members, but everyone in your neighborhood, and in fact, all folks on our island about a meeting that I'd like to make you aware of on Saturday, 19th of August at 1 p.m. Again, that's Saturday, 19 August, 1 p.m. at 1152 Smith Street. That used to be the old Channel 14 television studios. It's now a New Life Center, 1152 Smith Street. And here is the reason for the meeting on Saturday, August 19th at 1 p.m. And that is to finally, after about 15 years, take a look at the current neighborhood board system and reinvigorate, revisualize it, and refresh all of what we do here in this incredibly innovative and grassroots system. Whether it's the neighborhood plan and making sure that it's followed, whether it's the way commissioners are appointed or the way the neighborhood commission staff operates, or just the boundaries of our neighborhood boards, they haven't been looked at for a very long time. And it's incumbent on us to start that process And then what we'll do is we'll have a white paper in about a year, go to the commission and then to city council, and hopefully reinvigorate, revitalize, and refresh the system that we all love and put so much time and effort in. So again, that meeting, open to everyone on this island, is on Saturday, 19th of August at 1 p.m. at 1152 Smith Street. And I hope to see everybody in that room and listening and watching on Olelo, as well as those who talk to their neighbor. I hope to see all of you at the meeting. Thank you.
Mahalo, Robert. Did you have a question? Or did somebody have a question? No, okay, pin cards.
Yeah. This is more so a question for the secretary. Does this violate sunshine laws if we attend the meeting?
No, because it's open to everyone on the island.
Perfect, gotcha.
Okay, any other questions from the community here?
We have a lot.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Paul. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
There shouldn't be questions.
Go ahead, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Good evening. My name is Paul Barthel. I'm with St. Anthony's Church in Kalihi, and we appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. Our parish is located just off of Dillingham and Puhale. For those of you who might not be familiar with the exact neighborhood, we're essentially right across the road from the correctional facility. Our parish has been serving the Kalihi community for 107 years, and we look forward to being members of the community for many years to come. As with just about everybody, COVID-19 had an outsized impact on our parish, and it was really just about a year ago that we have been fully back to normal operations. One of the things that we're excited to start building upon in this return to normalcy is that we're going to be partnering with a number of community organizations who help to work and make a positive impact for the lives of our neighborhood. And to that end, on the 26th of August, which is a Saturday, we're going to be hosting a community service fair. And this is designed to link community members with some of the various resources that are available to them in the community. And I'd love to think that having that community fair would be enough to draw in a crowd, but realistically, we figured it would be a good idea to couple this with a rummage sale. So we're offering members of the community an opportunity to sell off any unneeded items and maybe find some good bargains, in addition to linking them with community resources. We've got a number of organizations that we've invited to come and set up information booths at this event. We'd love to see representatives from the neighborhood board there as well. And I'm sure we could squeeze in a couple extra tables if anybody from this group here would like to participate also. Hopefully you're going to start seeing some flyers popping up in local businesses as we transition into August. And we just appreciate this opportunity to kind of put the word out about this event here in this forum. Again, my name is Paul Barthel. I'm with St. Anthony's Church in Kalihi. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I'm available for any questions that people might have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. CJ?
Yeah, this is a question regarding like noise complaints from industrial businesses. Currently, the Honolulu Ford dealership plays music at an unreasonably loud level for a daily period of 7 or 8 in the morning till 6 or 7 at night. We've called to try and get them to reduce this noise, and it's met with no change. But we don't know if the community board is able to assist in these kind of matters or what the next step is.
If you have a noise complaint, the best person to call would be HPD. If it's an unreasonable time, and it's unreasonable levels, you would be an HPD officer, you would call and let them know it's a non-emergency noise complaint, and they will come out and take a look.
Now, from our understanding, it's because it's during the daytime hours, it's not breaking any noise curfews, it's just a nuisance. It's practically at nightclub levels, shaking the house, affecting older folks.
Again, that's not us. Again, CJ, that's not for us to decide. It's up to an officer to decide if the noise level is to the point that they need to address it from the business.
Can I?
You also
can I
go
ask
ahead.
you- Hi, CJ Chair Daga. From an experienced person who calls HPD quite a lot, just keep calling. just keep calling. 'Cause there's nothing really we can do about it, but HPD, the more noise you make with them, they will answer you. Trust me.
Does that answer your question, CJ?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like there might be a conflict of interest. HPD gets their cars serviced there. It seems like calling a cops for a dealership isn't going to do much. It seems like we need to take political avenues instead of criminal. But we accept your answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jack James.
Jack James?
Yes, Chair. Thank you for the courtesy of hearing me. My name is Jack James. I'm the founder and president of Honolulu 7 Recall. Our mission, which started July 1st, is to recall 7 of the current city council members. The why of that is the pay raises and the manner in which they did it. We're going to be active in your community. We want to be good neighbors. We're going to have someone at your committee meeting every single month, a leadership member, in case you have questions. I've put my name and address and contact information in the chat. I want to be easy for anyone on the board to get a hold of me if you have concerns about our activity in your neighborhood. It's going to be a 14-month process. We'll be PAL with removing those 7 people by the 11th of August, 2024. And I just wanted to introduce myself and what we'll be doing in the Kalihi Palama area. So I'm glad to take a question or answer if there's any. Thank you, Chair.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the community? Hearing none. Thank you so much, Jack James.
Anybody else?
Anyone else?
I just have a
Ken?
quick one. So, with the time, I just wanted to bring up to everyone's attention, and just as part of it, is one of the things I think that you might have complaints about, or I'm going to be trying working on, is the 1L and how currently we lost the A bus, right? We lost the A bus that would go from here into the community all the way out to the terminal. Now that just goes straight on from the H1, right in front of where, not Wayne Apartments, but where Kukui Gardens is, and it goes from there onto the H1. So we lost all that coverage that's on there. I'm gonna try to see if I can help, with the board, or if, with the chair's approval, try to see what can be done about making the 1L at least stop at Farrington and the elementary schools. The 1L doesn't do that. And for an express to not do that, I think doesn't make any sense. And it defeats the purpose of what those should be part of it. And that was one of the things I wanted to bring up. The second thing is that we had, just for everyone's notice, at the Ninth Circuit Court, and what happened there in terms of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The next step is the Supreme Court. California just sued in terms of dealing with the homelessness situation. I don't know if you've heard about that case, but the Ninth Circuit struck down, went against the state of California, and ruled in favor of the defense. So this is something that I have no idea what that's going to do here in Hawaii. The third thing is that addressing the point in terms of with the streets and whatnot is what to what Mr. Peck was saying. The EPA, when they did Factory Street, they actually talked about it in their report about how bad the electricity was, the former old electrician type of outlets and everything, the wiring. So they rewired it to us for free. They did that for free of charge. Aside from taking the lead out and putting it in there, they did that for free. They anticipate that's going to go all the way down the line. So that's just something I just wanted to bring out to your guys' attention. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for mentioning that.
I have a question, Mr. Juan. Could you expand on what happened to the Ninth Circuit? Is it possible? I know
For the sake of time, could you go aside with him?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's gonna take some
Let's
time,
see
especially if we're talking
Okay.
about appeals and courts and things like that. Yeah, so if we can take that to the side,
Sure,
share
yeah.
information, that would be
Okay.
great.
You have an extra minute.
I really think we're gonna take care of Court of Appeals in a minute.
The deal with sidewalk enforcement, so just something, I'm gonna put it like that.
Judiciary is a separate part of the government, so all in itself, I wanna respect that. Anybody else that online? Nobody else? We're gonna move along. Presentation, I think we have, let me see, community impact of private roads on residents in Kalihi area. Is anybody for a presentation with that? Please have a seat. I believe you have 15 minutes, and if Eric, you can start.
So 10 minutes, right, and then 5 minutes for questions, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Clayton. I reside in the Kalihi, Palama area, specifically Richard Lane. I'll give a little background history. On October 1st, 2022, I began renting a property at 1212 Richard Lane. To enter my residence, you enter from a city street. You make a turn onto a single entry, narrow dirt and gravel path. Immediately after I moved in, I began to notice a constant water flow down our lane. It quickly became apparent that it was sewage. On a daily basis, the sewage discharge has come from our lane, making its way down our lane onto the next street, taking a turn, which ultimately would flow into the Kalihi Stream. After researching, I found the Kalihi Stream does flow into the Kalihi Lagoon, which runs into state waters. I notified my landlord, Jessica Chu, consistently. She dismissed me, offered no resolution. This continued. In November 22, I reached out to the city, made complaints again with DPP and the health department. With my concerns, I kept being told, this is a private lane with a private sewage lateral and we have no jurisdiction. At this time, I was unaware, but the DPP did send out a citation to the homeowners. As time went on, the sewage began to get worse. It became a daily nuisance. My children were no longer allowed to play outside. I was unable to sleep or cook. The smell was making me nauseous. It was getting harder to breathe. I assume it's the same for my neighbors. I started documenting a daily journal, photos and videos, as you can see a few here on the TV screen. I felt helpless. I spoke to neighbors. They said they had been making complaints back as far as the 90s. I'm not sure how long this had went on prior to that, but that particular homeowner had been making complaints as far as the 90s. That's more than 30 years of constant sewage discharge without having held anyone accountable. It's hard to say how long this has been going on, but no one has been held accountable thus far. In June this year, what was a constant stream has now turned into what feels like a raging river. As you can see here in this photograph, the sewage has backed up. The pipe's been broken for a while. It is backed up. This is my property. This is right by my front door. This is an overflow valve. Everyone's feces we're downhill, so everyone's feces from above us comes straight down to our property, and this overflows from this valve here, runs onto the street, down the stream, and this is what's going into Kalihi Stream. So this has been continuing on. We've had plumbers come out. Basically, they're saying at this point, well, there's nothing we can do until the pipes get fixed. So it got so bad that not only was it backing up here, as you can see outside, it was backing up into my residence, into my dishwasher, the shower drain. It would overflow onto the floor. It comes up into my neighbor's garden. He had to kill all of his plants, transplant others. I was literally at my wit's end. I've started reaching out to city officials, anyone else that would listen. I've called the health department again. I called DPP. I called all city officials I could. Emailed everyone as far as senators. The homeowners were cited again. DOH came out. They put up signs up and down the street that basically says, this is raw sewage. Stay out. You can call us if you have any health concerns. Those signs make me feel like I'm in a third world country. Like, this is Hawaii, where you feel like it's supposed to be paradise. I kept getting told by everyone that this is still a private lane. We can't do anything, we can't do anything. And I was confused. How can somebody own a private lane and not be held accountable? And I felt like nothing was being done by the city. I did reach out to City Councilman Tyler Don Santos Tam. He did come out. He was wonderful to work with. He started doing some digging. He looked at it personally, took some pictures, some videos, tried to reach out who he could. Come to find out, it was not only are there 8 homeowners above me, it come back that there were 7 different individuals listed as homeowners on the driveway. So 7 own the driveway, and then there's 8 homes, right? Those 7 individuals have been deceased since the 1900s, the early 1900s. So if they're deceased, this becomes a more complicated issue, right? So the questions I ask are, who owns it now that they're deceased? I'm told that we're doing research to find out next of kin. But in the meantime, is it bad record keeping? Is it the homeowner's fault? Are they held responsible? Can they transfer and divvy it up to the city, where the city can take over ownership and put in their own city sewer lateral? There's no clear answers. The city said the homeowners are responsible. The homeowners are saying they're not responsible because they're not listed on the driveway, which is kind of understandable. I'm told by some homeowners that when they purchased their home, they were under the impression that they did have common interest with the driveway. How far that goes, we don't know. There was estimates done on how much it would take. The pipes are buried just inches below the ground. They're on the driveway, so when you drive over them, they break. They're going to continue to break. It needs to be dug up, put down 6 feet or more, however it takes. That was estimated over $100,000. The city says that they want to divvy that up to these 8 homeowners, and everyone's got to chip in, right? But again, they have done nothing because they don't feel like they have responsibility. So at this point, like, it's unclear who's responsible. The Department of Facility Maintenance has just issued this past week a cease and desist to all the homeowners, including myself. I'm a renter. In order to maintain the discharge, to prevent it from going into the stream, this is their solution. That means all the homeowners, including renters like myself, are going to have no running water or sewage. It may prevent the discharge, but like, how long is this going to take to get fixed? Who's going to fix it? We still don't know. So allowing ownership of privately owned roads has created a severe public health crisis within our community. The impact of allowing private ownership is affecting more than just Kalihi Palama area and more than just Richard Lane. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's most of Oahu. My neighbors who are struggling to survive in Hawaii, they're barely making ends meet. Now they're facing huge fines for responsibility they claim they don't know is theirs. My children, other neighbors, other children, they can't even walk to school. They can't go outside and play. I've battled migraines. I've lost about 70% of my hair just the 8 months that I've lived in this area. I can't get anyone to listen. I'm sure there's things that's been done in the background, but I'm not sure what they are at this point other than what I've discussed. But as of now, in a couple of days, we will no longer have water. There's no clear timeline to when it will be restored, and I am now forced to move. The future risk of this long-term exposure and the constant flow of the sewage in the stream is still unknown. Those may not be apparent for years to come. Maybe our children or grandchildren might find that out. We cannot say. I cannot clearly say. I cannot clearly say who's responsible, but what I can say is that my community has been exposed to dangers of the illicit sewage discharge for far too long. This is a minimum of 30 years that this has been going on. The city has been notified. I know neighbors have said that they've notified them, and I've been doing it myself almost on a daily basis since I moved in October. This is what we see every single day. We started putting wood because in order to get out of our house, we have to walk over it. Now it's kind of a platform we have to go over just to get out. But having private road ownership in any neighborhood where there are multi-family units opens Pandora's box for issues just like this. And no one knows who's accountable. Everyone's blaming others, and I can't get to the bottom of it. I don't know.
Because this is on record, what are the state officials or government officials?
I'm sorry, say again?
What are the state officials and the government officials? Can you say names and the dates and what the responses were? Because you are on record, and this is a public forum.
Yes, I will grab my phone real quick with all my notes.
Is that your question, Zach?
That's interjecting, but she's not finished with her.
Got it.
I started keeping notes here recently, and that's only because every time I would reach out and I wouldn't get a response, once I did get a response, I was like, I did call.
I just want to have that on record because this is public knowledge now and it's recorded. Played back.
Okay, so I've called the co-compliance branch. I've tried to find out how long it's going to take for the violation. I left messages for Terry Pameo to find out when it will be put notice to order. I've called branch for inspection and left messages with Clayton Oku. I have not received a call back from him just yet. I have countlessly reached out to Representative Kalihi Sunny Ganadin. He did call me back one time, but I did not get a solution or any answers. I've spoke to Senator Donna McCardo Kim. She said it's out of her jurisdiction. City Councilman Tyler Don Santos. I've spoke to him on many, many occasions. I got a call from Brandon Masuda, Misuda, sorry, my apologies, Misuda. He gave me his email and correspondence. I did send emails to him, and Lynn Robinson on the community issue. I guess she works under Tyler and covers this area. She has contacted me. She let me know that it did get Michael Thornby's attention. I did reach out to him personally. I have not heard back from him. I have also tried to reach out to Michael Green and Mayor Blangiardi. I've not received any messages back from them. Department of Health, I've called them on numerous occasions, May 24th, May 25th, June 15th, July 4th, July 5th, July 9th. I keep getting told, call Safe Drinking Water. I've called Safe Drinking Water branch. I spoke to Kita, asked for a water test. She told me to call Sanitation Board. I called Board of Water Supply. Environmentalists, I've left message for Deputy Director Michael O'Keefe. I did not get an answer back. He would not let me leave a message on his website. The sanitation department, I spoke to Debbie. She was really nice. She gave me the state office and the clean water branch, who I spoke to Kara. She did verify that this does go into the Kalihi Lagoon, which does flow into state waters. She transferred me to the enforcement office. I spoke to Randy. He said it is connected to the city and county collection system, to call city and county environmental service and they would help. I called them on June 15th at 3:46 p.m. I spoke to Creighton. He basically says it's a private lane. We can't trespass. I'm just sorry, I don't know what to do. I never heard back from them. Stormwater Quality Branch, I spoke to Claire, who sent me to Michael Fernandez, which is with the Investigation Enforcement Branch, who sent me to lead investigator Trey Martinez. He has been coming out as of Monday to take photographs on daily documents to see if it's fixed. I guess after 7 days of this illicit discharge continuing, they're going to start issuing fines. Their fines are separate from the DPP, who has not issued any fines because I'm told, quote unquote, they're backed up from the previous administration. So it's still sitting in violation and they don't know how long it will sit there before going to notice order. Yeah, it's just going to sit there. So I'm not sure how long that's going to take. I did receive a call from Kendra at Congressman Jill Takuta's office. She told me to contact Congressman Case.
Yeah.
I did that. I filled out a release form. I still have not heard back from him yet. I did send that in on July 7th. I have not heard back so far. Again, like I said, I've tried to call, leave messages for Josh Green, Mayor Blangiardi. I've reached out to them on social media because I saw they were active. Still no response there. I called public access, the public access room, spoke to Keanu. They told me to call Donna Mercado Kim, who again said she did not have jurisdiction. The managing director's office, I left a message with them for Michael Thornby. I was told to email them. They would forward it to Josh Green. Seong Yem at honolulu.gov was her email. I did not catch her name. That was on July 11th. I did send a message to Brian Gallagher. He's a representative for the mayor. I never heard back.
It says up here about 1 minute left.
And then I reached out to neighborhood board, and I was told to come speak out here. So permit and planning, I think her name is Kira. She's come out and done inspections as well. So really that's where I'm at the moment.
Thank you. We do have a response. Lynn Robinson.
Aloha Chair, aloha board members and community members. Lynn Robinson from Councilmember Dos Santos Tam's office. Aloha Jacqueline. Thank you for your comprehensive report and for raising awareness for your community. This is an incredibly unfortunate and now unacceptable issue that we're dealing with for obviously a great risk to public health. It's also incredibly complicated because of the ownership issue. And so I think that sometimes it seems like maybe departments are kind of passing the buck, or agencies or state or city, or it's not for purposes of records. This is not considered a road. It's considered a driveway. And so it gets muddled, unfortunately, with the ownership of a driveway and not having X amount of homes on an actual road where a city would be able to or should go in and provide services and repairs to infrastructure. A council member has been out there and keeps in close contact with Jacqueline, as does our chief of staff and myself. We're another layer of this, and I'm sorry, I don't want to be too lengthy. Another layer of this, there has been a meeting this week where Council Member Dos Santos Tam met with the managing director's office, so met with Mike Formby. They looked at the notice of violation. They're very well aware of all of the complicated layers to ownership and next of kin, and the fact that it's a driveway and not a lane, and people are honed in and paying attention. I think it's more of a protocol issue that they are communicating with homeowners and not with Jacqueline as a tenant. And that's why we're trying to be the conduit there so that Jacqueline can stay.
I blame the weather.
It's Kelvin, yeah.
And just a note, I did combine, those are the 15 minutes total, so I kind of combined since as a response to the question.
Nonetheless, please continue with Tyler's office, as they seem to be working with you.
My landlord has retaliated for my participation of getting this on the news and has issued me a notice to vacate, which we're moving anyways, but she terminated my lease the day after I got it on the news, and so speaking out against this is why I went directly with communicating with officials versus her, because this is a lack of communication with her myself. So
and it's back on.
A lack of communication with your landlord.
Yes, so she's very aggressive. It's more of a I didn't do anything wrong kind of thing, and she won't provide any communication with me other than you need to get out, you need to get out. So this
I
is
don't
why
want
I'm
you
coming
to get into a public forum where you might be like defaming. So obviously we can, I am not dismissing what you're saying at all, but just please know that our office is here to continue to work with you daily if we need to give you updates about how the city is doing their best to move forward.
Okay.
Then, since you're on, it is a public health emergency. Now that it is public knowledge that there is untreated sewage that has been leaking into the canal and into Kalihi Lagoon, where people fish and play and live.
Canoe every day.
Canoe, right? And surf, right? Families are there. Something needs to be done more immediately, as it is a public health concern and emergency.
So perhaps the board wants to look at taking some kind of action, asking for emergency reaction from.
Yes. And if anything too, is there like anything, because now that this is trespassing like public health has said, is there like any lawsuits that can be made that the public can do, or any legal action that we can take to ensure that this problem does not just happen with Jacqueline's property, but it also affects everyone. So
yeah, and I don't know about a lawsuit, but definitely just like Jacqueline mentioned, how records are kept. Maybe re-examining laws about driveways and ownership and lanes and ownership and all of that. I do believe I do believe that in many communities, to include, our Kalihi Palama community, there are going to be ongoing infrastructure issues. So I know that we should look at whatever we can do proactively to keep this from happening. I know that council member would be happy to work with the board or to, if you have a resolution or something you'd like to put forward, just please know that our office here is here to work with you.
I will be in contact.
Jacqueline would like to.
I'm going to put, obviously I have a report coming up, but I'll put my contact information in the chat now in case we lose anybody.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I just wanted to make one more statement. I know there's a cease and desist and they're going to cut the pipes and the water, which is a temporary fix. My landlord already has my property up for rent. I'm not even out, but she has my property up for rent. I want to prevent other people from moving in to that unit because the people before her, when she purchased the property, had the same issue, and before them had the same issue, and I want it to stop with me. So that's why I really want this to be addressed as soon as possible so that we can prevent other people
Ultimately, I understand it to be that the state would have to condemn.
And how do I go about doing that?
The state would have to condemn it as a public health emergency, but that's something I will speak with Tyler's office about.
Thank you.
I'd like to just speak a little bit to that. What can we do in terms of being a board in regards to like a EPA, because it's beyond this little residential.
We have to
driveway.
take steps, Evelyn. So having a resolution first is an escalation of action from the board and from the community. Now that she has come here, she's presented it not only to this board, but then to the greater community as more will hear about it, and to Tyler's office. So it is going to start off as a resolution. I'll have more conversations with Tyler's office and we'll go there. Okay?
Thank you.
I have a question. Actually, it's more a comment. You also have more I understand you have more photos in this, videos?
I have hundreds of photos and videos that have gone back since I moved in October 1st. Starting literally, I was told the day that I moved in by my landlord, I asked what the water was. It was a very light trickle down, and I was told it was cars, a neighbor washing the car. So I did sign the lease and move in, but set on the October 17th is when it was definitely sewage. And so from October 17th, this has been daily documented since then.
So we're gonna move on.
Thank
so
you.
much. Your information is shared with our secretary, so please make sure that we have
I have a question for Madam Chair. This is Delia Ulima.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, as it relates to Jacqueline's testimony and the discussion about a resolution, possible resolution from the board, you had mentioned having a discussion with, Tyler's office. Can this board create its own resolution separate from those discussions and maybe be enhanced and informed by those discussions?
That's the intention of that.
And how can we make sure it's on it doesn't fall by the wayside and it's on the next agenda for this board meeting?
Well, usually I don't, because I am by nature and career an investigator myself. So we'll share all contacts. I'll be in contact with the rest of the board and see what kind of actions we can take as I'm in discussions with Tyler.
Health.
You can put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
And I'll put it on the agenda as a follow-up to the next meeting.
That would be great. I would hate for when Jacqueline moves out that there's no advocate that's going to be consistently advocating for this and holding this up to light. So if we are that as I lived in Richard Lane for 4.5 years, and I still have friends and family that live there, and I was not aware. I always saw that trickle. I was not aware of what it was, and so I want to make sure that we keep this top of mind, even when this brave woman moves out and goes on to her next neighborhood, that we keep it top of mind. Thank you.
I will advocate for her, and I'll make sure our board is informed and stays engaged. So please stay engaged.
Somebody has to drop the resolution.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Fit Learning, Joni Wong presentation.
Hi, I'm Joni Wong, and then this is Christine Watson.
Put a chair on the chair side.
So we weren't sure of your guys' setup, but we just have 3 printouts if you wanted to.
As soon as you state your name, the presentation will begin immediately.
Okay.
Very good.
Good.
Thank
I'm Joni Wong. Thank you for having us here today.
I'm Christine Walton, and we're here to talk about Empower Youth Hawaii, which is our newly formed nonprofit. Our nonprofit Empower Youth was created because of successes that we found in our current sister company called Fit Learning in Honolulu. And at Fit Learning, we work with kids teaching reading, math, logic, general social skills, penmanship and writing. And we have noticed great success, and we wanted to start a nonprofit to look at disseminating this in communities. So some of our values, some of the things that we have our values are to make sure like teamwork, there's collaboration, and we hope to achieve, and some of the actual procedures that we use, it combines the science of learning with direct instruction, precision teaching, like relational frame theory. Essentially, these are all the component skills that have deemed successful based on research. And so we wanted to, and we've hoped, and we've really worked to produce a year gain in grade level for 40 hours of instruction. So I'm gonna hand it over to my colleague, Joni, who's gonna talk a little bit more about what we're
really passionate about just helping the less fortunate, right? So what we found through this was people that could afford this type of teaching got the service. So we wanted to open this nonprofit to more like an outreach to other communities. And so I've been had the pleasure of training at Kakako Boxing Club. It's down the street from here. And then we just recently moved about a year ago, and it's also a nonprofit helping the kids of all ages after school, even some adults who can't afford to train will do that. So I'm now a coach. I trained under a coach for a few years, and I've learned that the teens that came in lacked some structure in their life. They were passionate. They had the perseverance to do well, but not understanding of just the basic steps needed to get there. Wanted this kind of like the fast life. And so it put me into coaching, and I'm passionate about teaching those basic skills. So at Fit Learning, we're also called Fit Coaches, not teachers or instructors, because there's a lot of like go, coaching mentality involved. And so I see the similarity in Fit Learning and just being a boxing coach. And so Kalihi being a place of transition, it really ties into when we're looking at a community to start up a nonprofit. It kind of like light bulbed me one day, and I said, the kiddos that we want to really reach out to, the population we want to hit are the early learners, going from school, the preschoolers, and then also from elementary to middle. There's that gap where they forget those foundational skills sometimes of either math, reading, or even conversation and logic. And I'm really, we really believe that we start with the logical skills to making better decisions. And what we do in our sessions is we set an expectation, we have requirements, and we kind of teach them to believe in themselves and really focus on the confidence in order to keep going, because it does take a while to meet those gains. And so we wanted to present this to you guys and kind of get your feedback and your ideas and about where you guys feel this fits into the community at this moment, and if that's something that we can offer. We're looking at possibly a mobile option of going to different schools. If we can pair with a school where we could have like a little portable or a room, maybe a shared community space, or any suggestions you might have that we could start.
We're really at our infancy, and so we're really interested in more data gathering. What are the needs, the educational needs of the community? Instead of saying this is what we can offer, it's more finding out data in terms of like what the community needs and how we can look for grants that would tailor the needs with what we can provide. So it's more about just getting feedback.
Yeah,
so,
very good.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions from the board?
Just your names again.
Sure. Joni, Joni, Wong, Wong.
Christine Walton, CHRISTINEWALTON.
Any feedback from the board for these ladies? Any
I do.
feedback from the committee?
I have feedback.
Go ahead, Angela.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much for presenting about what your nonprofit does for this community and the district here in Kalihi, Palama, and beyond. So, you know, research shows after school programs, it helps students learn some of the extracurricular activities and recreational activities that they don't usually learn during school. And there was a resolution supported by the state legislature, and it did get enacted. So that is something that the state also supports. And that was for the DOE Summer Coordinator to create space for one employee at the Department of Education to help plan after school programs for the students. And
Angela,
so,
sorry for
yeah.
interrupting you. But
So, you know, I really look forward to some of the things my own grassroots cares, community advocacy, research, education services. We do art class, theater. So, you know, in this regard, I think it really helps students process their emotions. So, yeah, if there could be more performing arts, I think that'd be ideal.
thank you for your suggestion. For young ladies here, coming from this community, born, raised, lived, work my whole entire life, 40 plus years, not including I'm the youngest. So with that being said, I also grew up in public housing, Palama, back in the 70s. And with that being said, there's a lot of socially economic depressed areas in our community. That's where you're at right now.
Right.
And with that being said, lack of opportunities, lack of being able to communicate effectively, nutrition, food, everything that is we would think about that are just the basics and common sense that should be just given are not.
Right.
So if that is something that you want to research in the schools, like for instance, example is Dole. Dole Middle School is a Schedule I school, most of which is reliant upon federal funds because majority of those students come from public housing. I am one of them. So if you really want to do an outreach and gather some data to see the different layers and the different types of people and different backgrounds that very complex is Kalihi. We are so complex. Take the time to go to each and every school and see where the kids are at. See what the kids need. Like for instance, Dole, they need everything. From electronics to food to during summer, winter, and spring break for the community to be fed. Diosa?
I just wanted to ask, so what, as a board, what can we do to help support them? But I do see the benefits that would happen if they were to start in the schools. So what can we do collectively to help them?
If you have extra time, you can walk with them and volunteer your own time to go to different schools and schedule that with them. You know, so that's something I would probably do. Evelyn, you come from a public school yourself. That's something that you can possibly do for Pu'uhale, is to walk them into your home, introduce them, and maybe talk to them on the side. And not necessarily as a whole entire board, individually and your expertise in places that you want to volunteer. And not just for these ladies, that's with anything that we do in this community at any time. Because outside of this board, I do plenty of things. So it's not just in this board, right? Us as people in the community, that's what we do. So please feel free to reach out to these ladies in your extra time to help and assist.
You do have an education committee, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's your answer. Okay. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
And welcome to Kalihi.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to state elected officials. 3 minutes each. I'll start with Carl Rhodes.
Ms. Rhodes, your oath office.
Yeah. I'll give a 30-second heads up.
Hanamoto.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair.
Hi, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hello to all the board members. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm glad I could be here to report on the senator, and so I could be here with all of you. So my name is Kai Hamamoto. I'm an intern in the senator's office, and I'll be reading out his report now. So, $1,425,000 in the capital improvement project funds was released for improvements to comply with current ADA standards at Like Elementary School, and as well as another $1,400,000 in the capital improvement project funds was released to finance additional construction for Interstate Route H1 eastbound improvements from Ola Lane overpass to the Like off-road. Also, the red light safety program is now in effect at certain areas along Vineyard Boulevard and Poly Highway. I put the link in the chat if anybody wants to check out those different locations, so that's there for you guys if you would like to look at that. Also, the senator would like you guys to know, last week the Department of Health reported 605 new COVID cases, 7-day average of 82 cases and 4 deaths. COVID-19 remains the top cause of death in this country and has claimed the lives of more than 1.1 million Americans. So the senator still strongly recommends everybody to get their shots and boosters and to mask up when they can. Also, please don't hesitate to call or contact the senator at 808-586-6130 with questions or concerns about anything. I also put his email in the chat for anybody who would like to contact him directly. And if anybody has any questions, that's all I have for tonight. And once again, thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you so much for that very efficient conversation. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the community? Online? So cute.
No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Next is Donna Mikado Kim, our representative.
Good evening, Neighborhood Board, Chair, and
Hello.
members. My name is Bernie Collin, and I'm representing Senator Kim at this time. You should have at least by now received her community report, and if you haven't, please let me know. Send me your contact info in the chat or simply call our office so that we can send you a copy right away. And to everyone out there in virtual land, if you need a copy, if you want one that is, then please also contact me via the chat or call the Senator's office. I'm just going to touch upon the community report at this time. How many of you have taken a ride on the Skyline over the 4th of July weekend or even now? Raise your hand. Great. Anyway, Senator did participate in a site visit to the rail, and she had a very pleasant experience. Other highlights in the community report. In the May-June CIP releases, Like Elementary School, $1.425 million, released to finance design and construction for improvement to comply with current ADA standards. Maluhia, $464,000 to replace the exit doors and $100,000 to upgrade parking lot lighting for energy savings. And the state transit-oriented development planning, $350,000 for plans for the redevelopment of statewide Kamehameha homes and Ka'ahumanu homes in Kalihi to improve evaluation of mixed-use development and infrastructure needs, environmental review, and integration of complete street elements and multimodal mobility options. And the last one is the Interstate Route H1 eastbound improvement on Ola Lane overpass to Like Awesome. So $1.4 million project to finance additional construction for the eastbound lanes on the H1 improvements from Ola Lane to the Like off ramp. Also in the community report, the governor announces emergency declaration relating to housing, and you can read more about that in the community report. I know that Senator Rose's office also mentioned about the red light safety camera program, but please know that in our recent discussion with the DOT, we were informed that the number of citations issued is going down each month as motorists are becoming more aware of it. DOT does plan to give a full update at the 1-year mark, which will be November 2023. Current citation figures are in the community report, and there's a link there as well. Moving on to the GIA, I just want to mention the Kalihi Palama Culture and Arts, which is $100,000. In closing, I just want to point out that Senator's community bulletin was mailed out to each constituent who was registered to vote. It's 14. We just wanted to point that out. Are there any questions by board members at this time?
Thank you so much. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the community? Hearing none, thank you so much. Have a nice evening. And please tell Senator, there's no questions.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Representative or Senator Glenn Wakai.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Richard. I'm with the Office of Senator Glenn Wakai. Just a really brief report. I did email it out for dissemination to the board, but on Senator Wakai's report, he wanted to just mention that if you're not aware, there is a new Amazon fulfillment center coming to Sand Island soon. In 2020, Amazon purchased land in the Sand Island area to develop the distribution center, and later this month, Amazon is celebrating their completion of the elevated decks for the distribution center. It's expected to open in spring 2024. Senator Wakai last month also visited the pantry, which is actually located in the Kalihi community. It's the only e-commerce food pantry in the country that operates weekly, year-round, to provide free, nutritious food to feed over 800 Hawaii families each week. It's definitely something to check out if you or you know someone who is in need of food. There are links on our report to the website, or you can also go to their website at thepantry.org. And the last thing he just wanted to share, Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke wanted us to share a flyer with the board regarding the state's public pre-K program that offers free, high-quality learning experiences for all keiki. If you would like to apply, you can now. Their website is readykeiki.org. And for more info, again, you can just go to their website or ask us any questions. I'm here to take any questions back to the senator. Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Can we have Evelyn?
Hi, Evelyn Cullen. I have a question. Anyway, in regards to Amazon, Mokwe Street has stoplights there. Are they planning on using Mokwe Street as their main entrance? Because also right next door is the Palama container terminal. And right next to that is Kalihi Street. So between Kalihi Street and Mokwe Street is gonna be awfully full of big containers and traffic, because we also have Young Brothers on Nimitz that clog up the back end of Wawiki Street. So that entire area is gonna be pretty much inaccessible for people who live below there, like myself. So I was kind of concerned with that. The Kapalama terminal, as well as Amazon, because it's a monster. The Amazon building is a monster. And I don't know where their entry is gonna be or their exit. I'm kind of looking at how they have the building situated, but I do not see an entrance through Sand Island Access Road. So I'm thinking everything is gonna be coming out of Mokuea, if not Pu'uhale Road. So Pu'uhale, Mokuea, and Kalihi Street is gonna be awfully crowded, as well as Nimitz. Again, Young Brothers, they clog Nimitz in the morning when people need to get things off and onto the barge for the neighbor islands. And they also clog Awiki Street, and Senator Wakai is aware of that. So please ask him about those questions I have.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely take that question back and find out if they are gonna be using Mokuai as their main access road. I will contact Chair Ibanez to relay the answer back to you.
Yeah, and also for the Kapalama container terminal, which is gonna be used primarily by Maxon, and it appears that Kalihi Street is gonna be one of their main entry points, as well.
Okay.
And then Young Brothers uses Libby Street and Wiki Street as well as Nimitz and White Camino as entry points, so that's a big problem for safety.
Okay. I would relay that to him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. I think we have Angela.
Yes,
Angela, go
thank you,
ahead.
Chair, for calling on me. I was raising my hand for a while. Yeah, so Richard, I have a question for Senator Wakai. He announced he did work with After School All-Stars in a previous neighborhood board meeting, and After School All-Stars participates in the Hawaii Children and Youth Summit. It's a summit held by the Kiki Caucus once a year, and I'm a planner for the Hawaii Children and Youth Summit. The summit and the caucus proposes priorities that require statutory changes by the legislative, executive, or judicial branches at the city, state, and federal level. And there are also issues identified that could be done through organizing within the community in a collaborative setting, which does not require.
Angela, sorry, Angela, but what is your question? I'm sorry, but what is your question?
My question being is if Senator Wakai, through his work in conjunction with After School All-Stars, would like to participate, even if he's not from the Kiki Caucus, he is welcome. And if he'd like an invitation to be at the Hawaii Children Youth Summit, it's a very historic event.
Okay, invitation. Thank you so much, Angela.
Okay. Thank you, Angela. I will ask him and we'll let you know.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank
Report
you.
back. Mahalo. We're moving along with Representative Daniel Holt.
Aloha, hiahi kako. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Wait.
Okay. All
Wait.
right.
Daniel Holt or Sunny Ganadin?
Daniel Holt.
Daniel Holt.
Hi. Aloha, this is Kelly. I am the office manager of Representative Sunny Ganadin. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I early? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. It's okay, Clay.
There's no Daniel Holt, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, my mistake. Anyway, so yes, I'm the office manager of Representative Ganadin. I apologize that my video isn't working this evening. I'm not sure why. But to briefly recap, Representative Ganadin's HB 600 related to safe routes to school, which was passed out of the 2023 legislative session, was signed into law as part of the governor's traffic safety bills on July 6th. This bill establishes the Safe Routes to School Advisory Committee, requires the Safe Routes to School Advisory Committee to develop a comprehensive statewide Safe Routes to School plan. Further, it amends the duties of the DOT's Safe Routes to School program and deposits state highway funds into the Safe Routes to School program and appropriates Safe Routes to School program special funds. These funds will go towards repairing our streets and sidewalks to protect pedestrian safety throughout the state of Hawaii. We are currently working with the DOT on securing federal funding to repair sidewalks on Kulik and Beckley. Representative Ganadin also had a conversation with the residents of Richard Lane, and we're continuing to follow up on this issue. We've been working closely with the Office of Councilmember Dos Santos Tam and have been in regular contact with Lynn regarding this issue. Representative Ganadin is also continuing to work with youth this summer. Currently, he is coaching Kalihi Wallabies basketball team. He continues to prioritize youth services and youth mental health for Pacific communities. And just like Senator Wakai's office, Lieutenant Governor Luke's office also asked us to disseminate the red safety flyer. I know that Richard has already sent it in his community report. I can also drop it in the chat. And that's all.
Please jump in the chat. Any questions from the board?
I just want to say hi.
Okay. Any questions from the community? No questions from the community. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Angela.
Oh, sorry. Angela, what's the question, Angela?
I just want to congratulate them on the HB 600 enacting into law.
Mahalo
Thank
nui,
you so much,
Angela.
Okay, thank you so much, Kelly. Have a nice evening. See you next month.
You too. Aloha.
Aloha. Okay, Governor Josh Green's representative.
Aloha, I'm Joy Kalihi. I'm the DOT Deputy Director for Harbors and the Governor's representative. I'm going to put in the chat the link to the Governor's monthly newsletter, and I had previously emailed it to your previous board chair, Ken Farm. And I just want to congratulate the new members of this neighborhood board, and just will point out the big highlight in this month's newsletter is the announcement of the Homeowner Assistance Fund program expansions. And so you'll find the details as well as links for more information through that program in the newsletter. And as the DOT Deputy Director, if there are any questions about the Kapalama Container Terminal or other issues in that area, happy to answer those either now if you have questions or follow up through email. But DOT also shares your concerns about the impact to traffic of the Amazon delivery center. We have a meeting scheduled with them in the next 2 weeks to just figure out what their traffic patterns are going to be and whether they've planned out, to some level of detail their operations. We understand the congestion in that area, as one of the members pointed out. We have the Young Brothers terminal as well as traffic coming off of Sand Island into Young Brothers. And at the appropriate time, as we near completion of the Kapalama Container Terminal, we can provide additional updates to this neighborhood board. That's my report for the night. Happy to answer any questions and follow up any other items that may be for other departments in the administration.
I believe if Evelyn and you can exchange information, because her concerns might be a bit lengthy and it deserves to have a lot of attention and explanation. So if both of you can exchange information and then have that correspondence.
But I also wanted to just put a quick on note here. Just will Kalihi Street be an entrance for the Kapalama Container Terminal? Because on the original plans it was Mokoea, and then now it appears as though it's now Kalihi Street.
So Kapalama Container Terminal, the entrance is going to be actually on Sand Island Access Road, right by the bridge. And there will be an access point. It's actually on road number 2, which is a road owned by DOT that I believe is across Kalihi. So it's across Awiki from Kalihi Street. So that'll be the primary entrance, or exit point rather. But actually, it'll be Pasha Hawaii that will be operating out of the Kapalama Container Terminal, and there will be an interior road that directly connects the terminal to Young Brothers. So a lot of the traffic that you see on Awiki going into the back Libby Street gate of Young Brothers, that traffic will be taken off the road entirely and will be served instead by an interior road that doesn't affect any vehicular traffic on Awiki.
Yeah, I need contact info.
So I've dropped my contact info in the chat, and I realize that you're not on the WebEx, but if Ken Farm is there, he and I are directly connected by email, and maybe he can help. Okay, perfect. Please email me anytime.
Sounds like a headache.
There we go. Okay. Hearing no other questions. Angela, please go ahead.
Aloha, Governor's Office. Just wanted to congratulate the Governor's Office on the bill signing for the child welfare services and the domestic abuse laws. I was invited to that by the Governor's Office, or maybe, I'm not sure, it was a branch, the welfare office from the Governor's Office. So I'm looking forward to what we can do as a collaborative community board to support efforts like that. And yeah, during the season, the Special Assistant from Attorney General talked about officers who dress up like teenagers to conduct investigations for child trafficking. So, a lot of that is going on everywhere. So I'm personally looking forward to supporting those initiatives and efforts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much, and thank you for your report. Hello. Okay, we're moving along. The next on the agenda is city elected officials with Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative.
Aloha.
Stephen?
Can you hear
Aloha.
me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Aloha Kalihi Palama board members and the community. My name is Stephen Courtney, the mayor's representative and the deputy director for information technology. First, I'd like to start off with some highlights from the mayor's newsletter. First one, rail passenger service on Oahu. A new era has begun for transit riders across the island of Oahu. Passenger service on Skyline, the city's new rail transit system, officially began on June 30th. Tax relief for homeowners in the fiscal year 24 budget. In June, Mayor Blangiardi signed the City Council's adopted $3.41 billion operating budget for the 2024 fiscal year. Among the city's top priorities was a historic property tax relief for nearly 152,000 qualifying homeowners on Oahu in the form of a one-time $350 tax credit, amounting to roughly $53 million, which will be applied directly to property tax bills before they are distributed later this summer. Here's an update in regards to the Evile Resource Center. The Evile Resource Center is set to accommodate as many as 19 patients at a time, with a goal to provide permanent housing for patients within 1 month. $25 million more for the rental and utility relief program, which is temporarily reopened this summer, thanks to $25 million in state and local fiscal recovery funds from the Honolulu City Council. Please be prepared for the hurricane season, which runs through November 30th of this year. Hurricane preparedness shouldn't start only when a storm is coming, as we're aware of today. Building a 14-day disaster supply kit is essential for hurricane preparedness. You can also find out about these items as well as others on the mayor's newsletter, which I've placed in the chat mode. The Department of Budget and Fiscal Services wants to let homeowners know about the real property tax credit program in the city and the action that the City Council took to increase the income limit for this program from $60,000 to $80,000 per year. This $20,000 increase allows a large number of homeowners to apply for the credit who had incomes over the previous $60,000 limit. You'll need to apply for this tax credit. Board of Water Supply. Every 5 years, the Board of Water Supply reviews the current rate schedule and structure as part of a cost of service study. BWS operations are funded by ratepayers. These ratepayers fund capital approved projects, pipe and pump replacement and repairs, facilities maintenance, water quality testing, conservation and watershed management, and customer service, as well as general operations for the agency. As part of the rate setting process, BWS would like to present each board the proposed 5-year increases. They'll have a presentation for about 20 to 30 minutes, most likely around the August and September timeframe. We also have some follow-up in regards to some departmental issues. There was a board member, Colin, brought up in regards to 311 app, in regards to whether or not it's updated on a regular basis. And yes, it is. It is done by a third-party vendor company that provides that maintenance to that particular application. Community member Miyagi raised the issue in regards to Loe Kalu Park. Apparently, there's confusion between different departments: Department of Facility Maintenance, Board of Water Supply, Departments of Parks and Recreation. Community member Miyagi asked that they at least have some sort of a meeting, and right now it's between Board of Water Supply, GFM, and Parks. DPR has reached out to Miyagi in regards to set up a meeting that they'd like to schedule with that community member. In regards to another resident raised concerns in regards to bus stops 966 and 987 in regards to the cleanliness around those bus stops. As of Saturday, May 20th, they were cleaned, and the bus stops as well as surrounding areas were cleaned of trash. Another issue in regards to road maintenance, board member Farm requested the maintenance schedule on roads and sidewalks. In regards to the maintenance schedule, DFM crews are mobilized as resources are available with the goal of patching any potholes within 1 week of being aware of them. They also provide street sweepers as well in regards to making sure those areas are cleaned. In regards to vegetation in those areas, that's also performed by DFM in regards to scheduling on a rotating basis. In regards to the sidewalks, that is provided through a city ordinance in regards to making sure that is maintained, and that is partially due to the property owner to handle those areas. Another issue was raised by resident Pintor in regards to the crosswalks on North King Street that are faded and in need of repainting. Yeah, those are the responsibility of DTS, and all crosswalk restriping requests for this area in the interim will be referred to DTS. And DTS will be conducting an investigation, which will include a site inspection and determination if the crosswalks need repairing. And we will inform the board of our findings once our study is complete. And then finally, in regards to another question from resident Pintor, in regards to free bus, rail, and fares, the program is funded by the Department of Education. DTS is currently working with the state to continue the program on Oahu for the next school year. With that, are there any questions in regards to issues for the mayor?
Any questions from the board?
Thank you again for following up on my email. That email was originally for Councilmember Tyler Dos Santos Tom, but I'm thankful that DTS is now going to be conducting an investigation. And also mahalo nui for also looking up on my suggestion about free bus fares for high school students for the remaining of the school year for 23 to 24.
Thank you, Kurt.
Okay, thank you.
I do have one for you, Stephen. The back of my house is Lo'ikalo Park, and there is an overgrown tree. The branches are now pressing against the exterior of my home and is pressing against the roof. So right in back of my house is Lo'ikalo Park. There's an overgrown tree from Lo'ikalo Park that again, the branches are growing into and pressing against my tree. It is hurricane season. I am very, very concerned about that. So if some way, somehow, someone can figure that out before someone gets hurt. You know, I don't want there to be damage. I want the best case scenario to happen. And the best case scenario is what occurred in 2016, 2017. That tree was cut down. The root was not killed. The tree has grown back and into pushing against my house. So if there can be a correction, if someone can please cut it back again, greatly appreciated, especially since it's hurricane season.
Okay. Yeah, have you reported that through HNO 311?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I have, there was an arborist that contacted me and said that it's supposed to be cut back before June. I think it's almost August now. So, and I did go on 311, I did all my due diligence, believe me, I have.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm bringing it to your attention again. Because that it's hurricane season, it's just, something has to be done.
Okay, well, I guess I'll need your location. Can you provide that to the
Yes, I'll provide that.
to the commission? Okay, so then I can follow up with the DFM on that.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do. Angela? Go ahead, Angela.
Aloha, Stephen from the mayor's office. I was wondering about this tree, the mangrove. So since we're talking about plants and trees and what the city does. So there, not just the city, but there were other agencies, I think actually, I don't want to speculate. Someone destroyed the mangrove forest, and the specific purpose of mangroves, it minimizes shoreline degradation, it improves sediment filtration, and it protects against storms and high wave events. And it's one of the only species of trees in the world that can tolerate salt water. It provides protection for our coastal communities, and it assists with ocean biodiversity.
Angela,
And
I'm
yeah,
sorry for interrupting there, but what's your question?
okay. I didn't know there was a time limit, but thank you. Yeah, so
Yes,
I'm
there is.
wondering.
Thank you.
Okay.
Please proceed.
So I'm wondering. Okay. So I'm wondering why there is destruction of mangroves as something the city. Why does the city support destroying mangroves?
Well,
That's
I
my
can
question.
answer that.
You don't have to answer me right now.
I would have to probably refer to the Department of Parks and Recreation because they're the ones that are responsible for the trees in the city. So that, again, if you can provide more information through HNL 311, I can make sure that it does get addressed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and if I also may say something, Angela, mangroves are invasive and they also harm loicalos. So and not only is it harmful to them, it's also harmful for Amanda. So it does do everyone justice to get rid of the mangrove.
The mangrove, if it's planted next to coastal communities, it protects the community.
Thank you so much, Angela. We're moving along. Thank you for your opinion. We're moving along. Thank you so much, Stephen. And we're moving it along to Councilmember Rating Cordero. Thank you so much, Carlos.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just would like to share our newsletter. Just give me a moment. I think it's this one. There we go. Okay, good evening again. I just want to highlight a few things that is reported on our monthly report that was already distributed to the members. One is community updates for Kalihi. We've been in contact with DTS on many of the constituent concerns regarding speeding and traffic safety issues. One is at Gulik Avenue. DTS said that despite a previous investigation that determined no additional traffic control devices are needed, DTS is now considering re-reviewing speed and accident data to determine if installation of speed control devices such as speed tables are warranted. Also on Kalihi Street between Nimitz Highway and Auiki Street, DTS determined that speed humps are not recommended for this area due to the large number of container trucks that access this area daily. However, it is assessing whether bulb outs or other traffic calming devices are warranted. And DTS recommends that for residents to contact HPD whenever speeding is observed in your area. And I just want to provide you guys with an update that we had a really successful rental utility relief program in-person enrollment event last July 7th, Friday. This is with partnership with our office, Council Member Cordero's office, the Office of Economic Revitalization, Catholic Charities, Hawaii, Council of Native Hawaiian Advancement, and the management of Dillingham Plaza. At this event, a total of 65 pre-screened and 40 new rental relief applications were completed. The next in-person enrollment event will be on Thursday, July 17th. Oh, that passed already. What's it? Oh, yeah, that passed already. Sorry for. I know, I understand that. Sorry, I didn't check this report, but I know. Please visit revitalizeoahu.org/rent-help for the upcoming in-person enrollment event for rental utility relief program. Please visit that website. Another one that I want to highlight is that on Monday, July 17, the city held its opening ceremony and blessings of Oahu's first dedicated pickleball complex at Kalihi Lagoon Beach Park. This park includes 12 new pickleball courts, complete with lines and nets, were repurposed from 4 underutilized tennis courts as part of a larger DPR efforts to accommodate the increasing amount of players who enjoy the fastest growing sport in the country. And park improvements. As park are a top priority of Councilmember Cordero, she advocated for the inclusion of funding for improvements and maintenance in the fiscal year 24 budget. Additionally, here are some of the parks improvement project and requests for Kalihi. One is converting an existing underutilized half basketball court into a standalone pickleball court at Mokuea Mini Park. Second is upgrading all fixtures and lighting at Kalakaua District Park. And speaking of budget, on Wednesday, June 7, 2023, that was last month, the Honolulu City Council unanimously passed a $4.7 billion budget that took effect on July 1st, 2023. During this fiscal year 24 budget, the City Council approved appropriation to ensure that the city continues to provide services to support the needs of our community. Councilmember Cordero advocated for appropriation of more than $91 million in Council District 7. And on our reports, we provided some of the projects and the amounts that's in Kalihi and Council District 7 area. Also, the City and County of Honolulu is in housing crisis, where demand exceeds housing inventory at all income levels. The City Council and administration prioritize many projects to assist in our housing needs, which include funding for acquisitions, development, and construction of mixed income housing projects and homeless housing. For the fiscal year 24 budget process, the City Council appropriated more than $300 million to support housing initiatives. For more information about the city's budget or what was funded, please visit honolulucitycouncil.org/budget. That's all my report for tonight. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions for the board, Evelyn?
Hi, Evelyn Cullen. I got a question and comment in regards to the Kalihi Street between Nimitz and Awiki. DTS determined that speed humps are not recommended due to the big container trucks that'll be traveling alongside that the roads in that area. But I highly beg to differ on that. Even more so, we should have humps because of these big trucks. Because the speed limit in that area is 25 miles per hour. They're going 45 to 50. If I'm coming out of my street, HOE Street, and these containers are whipping it at that rate of speed, whether they're coming off of Awiki Street heading onto Kalihi Street or Kalihi Street going onto Awiki Street, I don't think I'll ever survive an impact, or anyone would survive an impact from one of those big container trucks. So knowing the development in the area and all the container trucks, it's going to be hazardous. I travel on Awiki Street to go to Staten Island Access Road a lot, and I'm really scared in my 4Runner when there's container trucks coming in the opposite direction because they don't stop and they're swerving. So I think they have to revisit. Let Radiant know that I would ask her to revisit that for me specifically, because I endure this on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Okay, thank you. May I comment? We do constantly communicate about, areas like this, including Kalihi with DTS. And like I mentioned, they are looking into other types of alternative besides the speed table. I know that there are other alternatives out there too that can deter vehicles from speeding. And that's why DTS right now is thinking about bulb outs and other traffic calming measures. And I'll provide with more updates once we get the final decision from DTS. And I do agree with you about the speeding there. We received many concerns as well from other residents in that area.
So I'd like to add, I did look at what bulb outs are, and that won't work in our area. That's like in Chinatown, they have bulb outs. On Kalihi Street, which is a straightaway, a bulb out ain't gonna stop anybody from getting injured or losing their life. Humps will, speed humps will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say something, Madam Chair?
Ken, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the report. I just wanted to also add, one of the other things too, in terms of also street safety is, and I think this is still part of within your area, is where Farrington is, Kalihi Street, and where King is. Is that still part of your guys' area?
No, that's state. So Kalihi Street from Nimitz all the way to like that side.
So the intersection, sorry, the intersection.
Yes,
King
but from I guess you know the Mackay side from like Nimitz on Kalihi Street from Nimitz all the way to the Mackay, that's city. But on Farrington, that Kalihi Street, that's state. Oh yeah, from King Street to Nimitz, I guess those are state. Yeah, the Kalihi, Kalakaua Middle School, that area there where there are speed humps or speed tables, that's the state jurisdiction.
So the reason I brought that up is because, going in line what we're talking about with the, with the buses and only having one bus going to be coming through, you're going to have more students when school starts that are going to be on these different islands and trying to cross and whatnot. Having a four-way stop, not all the time, but during the part of like where Pauhana, yes, right? Where
Waikiki.
Yeah, like what they have in Waikiki. King and Kalihi, if that can be worked with the state and you guys, I think that would be very helpful for the safety portion of it.
Thank you for that. And I'm sorry I did not get a chance to include that on our report. That's because we have not received a response from DTS. I think, Ken, that's a really great idea. And we share this with the Department of Transportation Services already too. At least on the King Street, North King Street side. So I'll respond maybe hopefully next month once I receive a response from the department.
Thank you.
Maybe perhaps just a suggestion that there be a study done, feasibility study, that might be helpful, just to see if it's realistic or not.
Yeah, I think that's what DTS do. Normally, they conduct an investigation before providing a response. That's why sometimes it takes a long time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Any questions from the community? Hearing none, thank you so much. Have a nice evening. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving along to Tyler Dos Santos.
Aloha again, Chair, board members, and community members. Lynn Robinson for Councilmember Dos Santos Tam. We also did our rent and utility relief in-person event today at the Lanakila Senior Center. And we're happy to report that we were able to help 90 plus constituents. I visited the event over there and the weather wasn't great, but people still came. So good news on that front. Also just wanted to share that the Complete Streets team shared with us that AARP has awarded them a $30,000 grant to pilot a new quick build for a flashing beacon for pedestrian safety at North Street. So North School Street, excuse me, at Ahunui. So that's fronting the Kokua Kalihi Valley Center there. Just wanted to pass that along. They're going to send us further updates as we get closer to implementing that. I also wanted to just let you know that I hope that you have our in-person members and community members have the hard copy of Council Members' July newsletter. And I put a link to all of his newsletters in the chat. Also, Council members periodically will be sending out mailers that are Palama updates. So I hope many of you are receiving those. If not, I'll put my information again into the chat. And please reach out to me and we'll get you on a mailing list so you can be sure to be included in future mailers. And there's also a link in the for the newsletters. There's a button for you to say, please, that you'd like to receive the newsletter regularly as well. The city was able to shut down 2 illegal game rooms in the Kalihi area. So this is good news. Still continuing to work with our partners to shut down those game rooms that are certainly a public safety and health hazard in the community. I will put a link to report. So if you suspect an illegal game room, you can anonymously report, and these reports are hugely helpful for HPD narcotics and vice division to be able to inspect, investigate, and enforce. So that number is 723-3933, but I will put that in the chat. I think that you may have noticed that Kanoa Street's been cleared, which was a long time coming. Also,
Excellent.
Good job. Great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so certainly a collaborative effort with many, many departments, agencies, and certainly do not want to leave Councilmember Cordero out of this because she certainly was, instrumental in starting this process. It's not an ideal situation. We do have many of those houseless individuals that have moved over to King Street, but with the implementation of Bill 3 relating to the sit-lie laws, we're kind of in phase 2 for enforcement and outreach over there. So bear with us. We're still moving forward and know that we've got a ways to go. Also, so there's a cleanup on Saturday for Kanoa Street and Pua Lane. So that the city's Stormwater Quality Division is hosting a volunteer community cleanup for Kanoa Street, Pua Lane, and surrounding areas on the morning of Saturday, July 22nd from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Volunteers will meet at the Banyan Mall parking lot between the Kamakapili Church and St. Elizabeth's Church, and we invite neighbors to join us. So community is involved too. Like I said, many, many partners in that effort. With that, I think that's all I have for my report, but I would certainly be happy to take any questions that anyone has back to the council member.
Any questions for the board? Any questions for the community?
I have a question, just a quick thing.
Eric, go
So
ahead.
this is Eric Irwin, board member. After hearing the individual's story that Jacqueline with the sewage issue, one of the things that's stuck out to me was she's being kicked out right now, and the landlord has the place up for rent, but they're going to shut off the water. I mean, it just seems really like a sad situation if somebody else, a desperate family looking for housing, moves in there. It's really technically uninhabitable. They don't have water, they don't have anything like that, but they're desperate enough to take that house. I don't know if there's any sort of enforcement power, anything that the city can do just to ensure that a family doesn't get in that situation, because they wouldn't be able to leave it. And if there's like something that you can say, oh, it's uninhabitable, but I understand there's other people in other houses. I don't know what's possible, but I would hate to see that situation develop.
I fully hear you, Eric, and we're definitely tracking and understand. I have certainly suggested that Jacqueline, I think she has reached out. I gave her information about the Attorney General's office and filing a consumer complaint and sending all of that compelling evidence that she has to include those photos and videos and all of those things. So it's definitely a start. I think that her coming to the board tonight was another just her way of raising awareness publicly to the community. And so we'll look into what else we can do to, legally, to see what is allowed for listing and putting community members into a, place that really is uninhabitable.
Thank you.
Cards.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say mahalo nui again for responding to my email and for putting that investigation with DTS to look up North School Street and repainting it and improving the roads. Mahalo nui, Lynn.
Thank you so much, Cards.
Absolutely,
Angela?
my pleasure. I want everyone to reach out for all of that. I put in what we call, the city has a system called a request for investigation and service report. And since I've come to work at the city in the last 6 months, I find it to be pretty effective to be able to track requests like that. And not everything needs to go to a study. Many times we don't always get what we want, but it starts a conversation, and we have been able to, repaint, crosswalks, replace signs, do traffic studies, get enforcement into areas. So I am the constituent services director in council member's office, and I highly encourage everybody to call me or email me, and so we can start these requests.
We have one more question, Angela.
Yes, sure. Thank you for noticing my hand. So if I could just say one thing about Jacqueline, it's a good thing that she's not a disabled constituent, because the laws are very different for disabled constituents. And to elect a disabled constituent, there would be like federal laws that apply. So, so my actual question has to do with the Clean Water Hero. It's a really good city resource from the Stormwater Division. So our Palama Neighborhood Security Watch coordinates with the Clean Water Hero, and we're going to adopt a park or adopt a block here in Kalihi. And so we will try to get people out to the cleanup so that, so that we can contribute and help the community. And actually, Clean Water Hero told us that our church, which adopted a block in Liha, is the entity that has the most people volunteering for Clean Water Hero. So,
Angela, that's great.
Alrighty.
And give me a shout out, and maybe we could work with you and see if we might be able to help spread the word about your cleanup.
okay, yeah, we also volunteer with the Miss American Scholar Pageant and the Brave, Be Respectful, and Value Everyone through Councilmember Toba's collaborations. And so maybe we can organize something. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
Alrighty. Hearing no other questions, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you next month.
You as well. Aloha.
Aloha. Okay, Community Resources and Educational Institutions, Kokua Kalihi Valley, Service Areas 96819, zip code, phone number 808-791-9400. Kalihi Palama Health Center Service Area is 96817, phone number 808-791-6322. Announcements, Warren Act, federal law. I think you can see the agenda and the email on there, or the website. The next Kalihi Palama Neighborhood Board number 15 meeting is scheduled on Wednesday, August 16th at 7 p.m. Location most likely will be determined. The Kalihi Palama Neighborhood Board recordings can be seen on Olelo channel number 49 at www.olelo.org/live at the following times: first Monday of each month at 9 p.m. and second and fourth Thursday of each month at 11 a.m. Meeting is